Carl, what are you doing there?
Just getting this guy in a Georgia Smith snatch position.
An excellent overhead squat, you mean? Hey!
I'm just kidding.
I do not squat like that.
Analyze that movement.
Oh, it's good. You're generating a lot of power through the hip there.
More efficient, right?
Yeah,
That's
power.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done.
Sport, not health, guys.
There we go.
So recapping for this this fine Sunday, James cooked up this WGM piece right here. So James, want to walk us through what we just hit first?
Yeah, snatch plus overhead squat times 3 to start. 5 sets of 1 minute on, 1 minute off of in the minute handstand walk for a distance, and then box jump step down for the rest of the minute remainder. And we finished with just some sprints on the flywheel bike, like a classic get on and hit it as hard as possible. 3 of us working on the same bike, chatter in between. Yeah, so weights, gymnastic, and monostructural at the end.
Any reason you wanted to hit this today?
Reasoning. Well, yeah, it's whatever I could do, whatever I wanted to do and could do. I've been lifting and doing a whole bunch of shit, but I haven't done any dynamic stuff, so I wanted to have, put anything out there that I could do today that wouldn't be too dynamic, and make sure that, I had a long swim, bike, run yesterday, so I wanted to also do something that's a little bit more tough contraction-wise. That's why.
So Carl, wanna
Carl
walk?
just along for a ride.
He
He
just showed up.
I showed up like
He
5
just does
minutes
whatever
late.
is up there.
Yeah, I showed up 5 minutes late. This was on the board, and I said,
Let's do this.
What the hell are we doing? And James said, we're doing this, and I said, let's go.
So experience in the snatch and overhead squat portion to start with. Any reflections there on what you guys felt, got out of it?
I'll speak for myself on that, but including Carl's commentary on it after we finished it. The snatch is always a good reminder of just how you're doing. If you can perform it. So if you've got years and years of strength and you've got years and years of practice and you can do it at a load that is efficient for you, that means that every time you do it, it's not hard. It's like, yeah, I got something good out of that. Like you commented at the end, it's refreshing to do kinds of workouts like that, snatch being one of it. So yeah, for me, it's always a good litmus to see how flexible you are, how ready you are, if you've kept some of those skills. So that's what I got from it, sir.
Yeah, I think we did probably 8 to 10 complexes, and we didn't get tough, right? It was like, it was extremely sub-maximal, but the way that I felt coming into the session versus how I felt after W was night and day. Because I came in, I was like, a little groggy, a little this, a little that, saw snatch, and immediately I was like, ooh, am I ready to put a barbell overhead? We did it, got to like set 6, 7, 8, whatever that tail end was, and I felt really good and refreshed and shut it down before it got ugly, and moved on to G and felt really good overhead positions in the handstand walk and stuff like that because we hit W. So yeah, didn't get tough, just like a nice complex, shut it down. Georgia looked awesome. She said she didn't snatch in 2 years. Don't believe that. I think she's at home.
I said twice.
She's at home.
Jacob's got her doing it every second day for range of motion.
My coach Jacob. He's got me doing nothing.
Yeah, Jacob's like whipping Georgia. She's with the
This is
broom.
gonna make us better at jiu-jitsu.
She's with the broomstick.
This really, this really took a turn here, guys. No, I haven't hit snatches in a couple of years. Just too many other things to do in the gym. I spent a lot of time snatching, and then I wanted to experiment with other stuff, so it just hasn't been a priority. But it was really fun to be able to get in here, hit it, not feel like complete dog shit. Like I think it was fine. I felt comfortable at the load I was at, and might have to throw some snatches in there just for some skill moving forward. It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
and
actually fixed your squat.
I know, I've always been good with a barbell over my head
Yeah.
for some reason. Well,
Self-correcting.
yes.
It's like you can't be bad.
No, it's just gonna drop.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and definitely, like you said, felt excited from that going into the next piece.
Solid.
Yeah. So, handstand walk and box jump step down. James, want to start us off there?
Yeah, just in architecture, the concept of those two movements are beautiful. Like the hip extension activity and repetition of it, a lower body dominant activity, and then the skill component of handstand walking. I must have done many combinations of the two in different ways. Density, adding up more handstand walk, short circuit style, high tempo, really fatigued state, skill finishing sessions. It's just a wonderful complementary piece, you know. That's what I'd say about it as overall. It's like a nice complementary pieces, you know.
Yeah, it was a reminder to me that if it was like let's say instead of going 10 minutes on the minute, finish, rest, if it was just continuous 10, I wouldn't have been able to do that effectively, just because I haven't handstand walked a lot in the past couple of years, where I have to do that stuff in a more skill-based setting, with the opportunity to rest and like actually think about the next set, because it was like, 50 seconds was on the clock, and then getting up to 60, I actually had to get re-engaged in it. I couldn't just like, mess around and like kick up and walk, right? So it's gonna be something I'll add back into my programming, just that low effort skill stuff, and those types of settings was a good reminder.
And just to clarify there, the piece was a 20-foot handstand walk, and then in the remainder of a minute that was on the clock, box jump step downs. Rest a minute, go through it five times, so 10 minutes total. Yeah,
You did a modified handstand walk or handstand wall walk.
Yes.
And box jump step down.
Yep, wall walks for me. James thought 5 wall walks sounded like a fair idea. That would have taken me a full minute, so I...
That's incorrect.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
If you know you got to do them within a short period of time, you'll get them done. It's always the case, but anyways, no. We'll just agree to disagree on it.
I guess so. James is not going to let me forget the fact I just totally ignored his prescription.
So James and Georgia jumped at the same time, and every time James came down, he would say a number, Georgia would say a number, and I could just hear it ever so slightly. James would follow up Georgia's number with 0.
I may have said it.
0. I never actually heard it, but I know that was going through James.
Totally. That was there.
Just for some skill teaching components on it too, handstand walk is also really complementary with upper body strict pulling activities. So L-sit rope climb, legless rope climb, is just fundamentally, I think, the best mix between that and handstand walking, because it challenges elongation and extension at the same time, or in repeated patterns. And then you'll find people will be different, although I don't know Carl's background for it and how he would respond to it. You think I would by now, but some people in capacity, they start relaxing better and they can actually extend out handstand walks better. So their breath rate goes up, but it doesn't distinguish the difference in their breathing because they have a good stacking position, but they just relax. Now when they do it in skill, they get too tight and they can't do it as comfortably. So I'm in the former group, well, sort of the latter group, which is that in skill components, I can go density and really long and really far and lots of it. But when it gets into capacity, I can't do it as good as what I would even in density skill work. So it's a, to his point, which may be the case, but it's something to think about. Not everyone gets worse when you add capacity to handstand walking. Sometimes they relax and get better.
You're describing my entire gymnastics in CrossFit experience over the last decade. Always better in an environment where I'm a little bit fatigued.
Yeah.
You heard me out there, right? Like I'm nervous about handstand walking, and I feel that in muscle ups, any like higher skill activity. Always better with when I'm a little bit more relaxed in like a Metcon style environment.
Yeah. So, but that's not always the case. But sometimes you can see that happening to people. Now, here's the other.
You gotta not do it first, though. You can't just be like, I'm not proficient at this, so I'm gonna get tired and do it.
Yeah,
There's a difference there.
yeah, and there's always the argument for being really efficient in a non-fatigued state, right? Really efficient at it and making it crisp and sound and etc. And then becoming inefficient but allowing an increase in capacity, right? So this is where, that's why like in IF3 and people don't like it over time, but we're going to create subjective measures based on how well you move. And that's really freaks a lot of people out because they think that for good reason, you're going to decrease intensity or capacity. So I just want to make that point for people. Think about two things. How do you complement movements for the handstand walk? And also, what does progression mean? And so if we wanted to be purist on it, it should be as perfect as possible the entire time you do it. That's it. And then if you get outside of that, it's very tough to measure capacity based upon it.
Well, it's like gymnastics, right? It's like, you know, you go and watch a gymnastics competition and aesthetics and how you land things and how you look is a part of it.
Oh yes, yeah,
You know.
yeah, for sure. In gymnastics competition, for sure, yeah. Because I was going to say, you know, not gymnastics as it's known within mixed modal as a competition.
Yeah.
It's pretty broad.
Like people judging you on what you're doing.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. And it'll be uncomfortable, it'll take many years, but it'll be good. It'll make people like us, for example, if they're interested in doing the sport, they'll get into the gym and they'll want to do sessions like we did, right? Where it's like, you know, Carl on your, I don't know which one it was, the second or third one, did you go a distance every time?
Yeah, I started a little before.
Okay, so let's just say he didn't go a distance one time, right? We'd be like, that's not a set, you gotta start again.
Mm-hmm.
So we hold each other accountable to like what is perfect execution of movement, not just like, you know, what it looks like.
Getting the work done. It's not just
yeah,
that.
or I'd be docked for a missed box jump.
Yeah.
You know, like, you got to think about those things prior to your engagement of being perfect on technique, right? Or your banging of your feet on the box jump, where you'd lose points for that.
But that was my head against the wall.
No.
Or me trying to climb up the box.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hands on the box.
Ah.
So actually, you got -3 reps for that, not -1. So I did do more. Let's talk about the sprints at the end.
Yeah, so the flywheel bike sprints.
Just wanted to get away from that real quick. I was doing math in my head. I was like, wait, what?
And on the phone.
Moving on. So describe to us that piece there.
Yeah, again, personally, I just wanted to do some really short, hard work, and the bike is just the greatest machine to put some effort into. Better than bike erg. Arguably, we could do sprinting on the treadmill at the end, and could have went into like 30 to 40 second pieces hard, which would have decreased the turnover and ground contact and etc. But to be honest, I did some running yesterday, and also I don't know if I'd be able to open it up really hard for 20 seconds or so without getting into some complications. So the bike is just an excellent way to do that. And then we had a little bit of fun with just covering the screen up and just putting effort into it. We refined it a tiny bit. Where it was just guns blazing, and whenever you felt watts go down, you got off and changed, and then over time, I requested we just kind of ramp up a little bit and then worked hard. But we learned some things from it. Carl had, with more rest period, an opportunity to get higher peaks each time. You could hear it. His second last one was the highest one based upon what I heard. We did maybe 5 of them or 6 of them. You and I had increasing peaks for 2 sets, and then the next 3 sets were just mediocre. You know, you try, it's not there, but we tried to get the effort there. That's what I heard from it. But I think the most interesting thing around the flywheel bike intervals was how Carl named it. Yeah, the naming of it was quite very high intellect, and I mean, it's just next order, higher order. What was the name?
What was the name again? What's my...
Dropping? What's
the sound? No, what?
What's my... We'll put it in the description below.
Yeah, we're gonna remember it and come back to it.
I should have my hands going behind me, setting it up. Ready. What's
No, I can't stop thinking.
Well, I commented on the sound. You can hear the sound difference, right?
Oh, was what's my sound or something like that?
Yeah.
Like what's instead of like what's my sound?
What's my sound? What's my sound?
Because we covered the
Oh,
screen.
no, and then I said, what's my sound difference?
Yeah.
But what's my sound, I think, was...
Because we covered the screen and we're like, let's just listen to the sound that the bike makes and get feedback from that, stop from it, let us know, like, you know what I mean, if we're increasing, if we're staying the same, if we're decreasing.
Yeah.
Georgia doesn't seem too.
I think it was what's the difference?
What's the difference?
What's the
Yeah.
difference? Were you waiting for the whole minute for us to play this?
No, it came to me right at the
What's
end when
the
I
difference?
gave you that look. I just
Got it.
remembered it.
Because we're talking about differences in watt output per bout. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Can we just erase all that and go to what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Live doesn't work like that. Sorry, you guys. They all heard it.
Unmuted.
They just think you're total.
I doubt anyone.
Total
We
fools.
could just go back in.
Total
and
what?
shout
Hey,
outs.
we've got some people here, and Mame just gave us a comment to say, "Hey, team." So, guys, if you are listening, please just pop a
What's up?
little chat in the chat box. Let us know. And yeah, any other reflections on the sprints?
No, I think James hit it all. I feel good now though. I mean,
Yeah, refreshed.
We didn't dig too deep on anything, so it was good. It's a fun session.
What would you want someone to get out of something like that, the flywheel bike sprints, where they're dumping power into the bike for as long as they can?
What would I want someone to get out of it? If it was a general prescription, awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like take notice of like how much time it takes between your recovery periods. Don't hold yourself to it, but just kind of see what time it is. Listen to the bike. Like see when you're really capable of the revving, and then recognize without noticing the screen when you hear those differences that happen. Yeah, just kind of get a feel for what your power is like right now. Just be like, yeah, that's, I think the biggest learning about it is that we're so held to metrics and seeing numbers and scores and whatnot. Just like you wanted to know what the snatch weight was. It's just human. You just want to know. But sometimes we just gotta like let that go and just be like, let's just feel what it's like. And so I think that's what I would want to get if I actually prescribed it.
Yeah.
Which I have before, but it's hard to prescribe it to the people that I was prescribing it to because they want to have some kind of measurement.
I think
Sometimes
it's
it's
also,
nice not to have a
I
measurement.
think it's also interesting to look at how do you recover between those those bouts,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you do extend that recovery period to the time that you think you're recovered,
Yeah.
is your peak any longer your peak? Are you
Yeah.
starting to drop power, and what do you do in those situations?
Yeah.
Do you rest more? Do you shut it down? Like what do
Yeah.
you do?
For sure. It does give people on a physiological level a good realization as to where they sit in that energy system training too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say most people incorrectly prescribe this because we're always concerned about the time for the person to work out. But if you're doing 15 to 20 second intervals really hard on the bike, you need 8 to 12 minutes rest between sets. That's to get a real true peak watt again, right, for repetition.
Yeah.
In the EST chart, it's like go 97%, keep it to 3 minutes, but you're really not recovered.
Yeah.
So it's in a true prescription if you want to get the best out of it. That rest period goes beyond the EST chart and OPEX, but it's
And
like
so
for you need like 15 minutes if you were to go
Yeah.
20 seconds guns a-blazing.
Yeah. And so few people can get there, right? To need the 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is the argument on relative potential. Some people may, the training they did the day before, or, have they even practiced it? Because there is, if it's not obvious to you guys, there's a skill involved in that, right? It doesn't look like it, but there's a skill involved in it. And if people practice it, you can rev that shit up pretty high. Yeah. Amanda Goodman's another one who does that. She can't go high capacity on relative potential, but when she actually digs in on it, she's down for 12, 15 minutes after 30 seconds on that thing.
Yeah. You see some people with like really vast training experiences, training age is really high, and just because of genetics, they're not able to really do anything on the bike. So it doesn't always
do anything absolutely.
Yeah. Like it doesn't always have to do with how much experience, how much training, all that. It's just like some people just can't do it. What I mean? They can't go in 12 to 15 seconds enough to need that amount of rest or to feel that fatigued after it.
If they did want to, though, they gotta get stronger and eat more rice.
I want to eat some rice now. Mome, just let us know the volume's fairly low. We are getting some mics, Mome, so next Sunday we'll be mic'd up and you'll be able to hear it.
Ask them if it's volume training or the sound.
The sound, volume in sound.
Got it.
So we'll fix that up for you, promise. It's we're working on it. All right, guys.
Turn up your thing.
Yeah, sometimes.
He's like, I'm blasted.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts, or we good?
No.
No, thanks.
Super Bowl. James, who you got tonight? Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tom Brady win another one.
Yeah.
Just for the old guys and
Georgia, who you got tonight? Super Bowl.
I know you told me the two teams that were playing, and I just can't remember, but Tom Brady's on the Buccaneers now, right?
Oh gosh, you don't have to. Yeah, you just act. Just act like you know.
I know. Well, I didn't want to say it confident. I don't.
No, I get it.
I don't want to say it confidently and then be wrong.
Okay.
I think that's a bad character trait to have.
Okay.
So
Say what confidently that
Say-
you know.
say something that I don't know with confidence. I'm not going to do that.
Got it.
Okay. Well, sorry. Who do you got?
So who do you have?
The Buccaneers.
Interesting fact. This is the first Super Bowl that a team is playing in their home stadium, because the Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay this year. So, for whatever that's worth.
Fun fact.
Buccaneers too.
How many fans do they allow in the stadium?
Oh, I think a fair amount. I think it's over 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Florida. Yeah, I think there's like 7,000.
Can't wait to see the comments.
I think.
Right?
I'll make sure, but I think it's over 20K.
So
Yeah, I just want to see Gronk get another one actually. Gronk and Tom Brady.
oh yes.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we're gonna enjoy it over some kind of great food on
Yeah.
the Traeger.
Some
The
chicken
Targets.
thighs, some sausage, chicken sausage, some steak, of course. Big spread on the Traeger.
Just meat.
Just meat.
Nothing
I
else.
am. I'm bringing some Rice Krispie treats. So
Georgia's going to make meat Rice Krispie treat sandwiches.
that sounds terrible. All right, guys. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
See you next week.
Take care.